What's up, everybody? It's Andrew V here. For those of you that don't know me, I am vlogging daily what it takes to get supersonic, absolutely shredded. Basically all the ups, all the downs, all the psychological downfalls, upfalls, and everything in between. I share tips, tricks, my failures, my wins, and everything I learn along the way. So if you haven't done it already, subscribe, follow along. I'm sure to give you some value. Today we're going to be talking about morning cardio. Now, morning cardio specifically, we're going to be talking about what is morning cardio, like what do you define morning cardio as, but we're going to be looking at it from the psychological standpoint. What does morning cardio do for dieting and your success routine for your getting shredded or getting leaner or getting healthier? I actually personally do morning cardio every day, and I've added that in about 3-4 months ago, that I do it every day, not 5 days a week, not 4 days a week. So I've been monitoring what happens to my psychology over the last 3 to 4 months, and I've come up with 3 things that really make a big difference to your psychology and what it's all about. So firstly, what do I define morning cardio as? I define morning cardio as movement where your heart rate reaches over 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate, right? So your heart's beating. Defined as longer than 30 to 40 minutes in terms of time frame. I define it also as done in the morning, obviously. So that's what morning cardio is. Pretty straightforward. Whether that's walking, jogging, running, cross trainer, playing a sport, swimming, whatever that is, as long as it's movement, as long as you're operating at a decent heart rate, so 60-70% of your max heart rate, which is relatively easy to work out. There are online calculators everywhere, so work it out, but roughly 120 beats per minute plus for majority of people is a safe bet. And for 30 to 40 minutes worth. So that's what I define morning cardio as. Now, the psychological benefit is quite huge. So psychologically speaking, your morning, as we've discussed before, and if you haven't seen it before, have a look at it. It's about my morning routine and the psychological benefit of a morning routine. So your morning sets up your entire day. How you operate in the morning will actually determine the pattern that you set for the rest of the day. So if we take upon the case that the morning is the most important period for our psychology and the patterns that we set up for the day, we want to make sure that our head is right in the morning. So the biggest benefit of morning cardio is the fact that when you are doing it for a long period of time, 30 to 40 minutes, and your heart rate is as what it is, 120 beats per minute plus, roughly, your body or your brain will release dopamine and serotonin. So they're literally your happy chemicals. Now, serotonin, dopamine, serotonin is also responsible for your appetite and appetite control. So generally speaking, it'll actually do really good things for your appetite. And there's no actual scientific backing for this, but what scientists have researched for some reason is doing a physical exercise in the morning every day helps with diet adherence. And here's what I bring it down to. If you can make a pattern of one positive change in the day towards your health, be that the morning cardio, and if you do it in the morning, you've basically set up your day already in the steez of, well, today I'm going to have a good day because I've already done a good thing for myself. So you're reluctant to go ahead and self-sabotage and create a shit day after that. So generally speaking, that's what happens. When you set up your morning powerfully with morning cardio, the biggest psychological benefit that you'll get is that you'll generally be geared towards making better decisions towards your health and diet for the rest of the day. That rule alone and that thing alone has actually caused me myself to do the morning cardio every day. And this is a 2-part series, so tomorrow or the next video, I'll discuss how you actually do it every day, because a lot of people will experience, well, what if I'm in pain, or what if I'm recovering? So I'll actually go through the tools that I use to make sure that I can perform morning cardio every day, and what the parameters are that I set around for myself. Anyway, psychologically speaking, again, the biggest benefit of morning cardio is the fact that it's going to set up a positive pattern for your day. Now, let's say this positive pattern for your day makes you make better decisions by 10%. Let's just say it only impacts 10%. You have an increase of better decisions for your health and well-being by 10%. So let's say that's all it does. Now, what if that 10% is compounded every day, 7 days a week, 352 days, I think, is in a year? It actually starts to add up. So if you combine that with your morning routine and it becomes sort of a habit, that's basically all you need. You don't need anything else, because your diet and your training will take care of itself, because you're already going to be geared towards making better decisions. That's the biggest benefit of morning cardio. A lot of people will confuse it and say they'll go to morning cardio and they'll be like, nah, it burns the calories and it's important because I need to burn the calories. And the reality is most people's cardio in the morning may burn 300 calories, maybe 400. And and that's running for like 40, 50 minutes. Most people overestimate how many calories they burn. And it's much easier to eat less 400 calories than to move 400 calories worth. So I would never take cardio and use it as a tool necessarily for here's how I'm going to increase my calorie expenditure. Not saying that it doesn't do that. Yeah, sure it does. But having that as the sole reason isn't going to create longevity. Because, for example, if you've eaten a burger last night and chips that ended up being 2,000 calories, well, you're going to need to do cardio for 5 days a week, for 5 days to just burn off those calories. Now, at that point, I'm personally not going to be motivated at all for the next 5 days to run for an hour a day just to burn those calories. So setting your morning cardio up in tune of I'm doing it to burn calories is just a losing battle, and I wouldn't do that. So the biggest thing that shifted for me was the psychology behind here's how I'm going to start my day, and here's the psychological benefits that it's going to give me. If you start your day that way, you'll notice that firstly, you'll be happier. Second of all, you're going to make better decisions, whether that be towards your diet, towards anything else. And reality is because your serotonin is hit, your appetite control is a lot better. So you'll find for at least 2 to 3 hours after your cardio, you're not going to be as hungry, or you're going to be way more controlled with your appetite. You're not going to have necessarily cravings for sugar or cravings for bad food. You're going to be potentially craving food, but you'll generally be craving more nutritional food. Your proteins or good carbohydrates or good fats. So generally speaking, that's what's going to happen. So key takeouts. Morning cardio. Reframe it in your brain from I use morning cardio to burn calories to I use morning cardio to set up my day correctly. So that's going to be the first thing that I would do. Number 2 is, how do I do morning cardio every day? How do I put it into my routine every day, every morning? And number 3, well, I don't know number 3, but subscribe. I hope you got something out of this. And for part 2, tomorrow, I'll talk about what to do in your cardio. Like, what are you actually going to do? And we'll go through that. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Like, subscribe, follow along, check out my other videos. I hope you got some value out of today's video. Andrew V, signing out.